Every dog owner has wondered the same thing the moment they close that front door behind them. What is my dog actually doing right now? Most of us picture our loyal companion sitting right by the door, eyes wide, waiting with a heartbreaking sadness until we return. It is one of those images that makes you feel guilty halfway through your commute. But here is the thing. The reality of what your dog experiences when left alone is far more complex, surprising, and honestly fascinating than that simple picture suggests. Scientists, animal behaviorists, and researchers have actually spent considerable time and resources studying exactly this question. They have used cameras, hormone testing, and behavioral analysis to uncover what really goes on inside your home and inside your dog's mind during those hours apart. And what they found might completely change how you think about your dog's inner world. Now, before we dive deeper, it is important to understand the difference between separation anxiety and normal dog behavior when alone. These two things are often confused, but they are quite different. Not every dog experiences genuine distress when their owner leaves. In fact, many dogs handle alone time surprisingly well. The reaction a dog has depends on several factors including breed, age, training history, and attachment style. A highly bonded dog raised without independence training will respond very differently than a confident, well-socialized dog who has learned that alone time is safe. Some dogs barely flinch when the door closes. Others spiral into panic within seconds. Most fall somewhere in between. What researchers have found is that dogs actually go through a psychological response cycle when their owners leave. It is not random behavior. It follows a pattern that reveals a lot about how dogs process emotion, absence, and eventually, the anticipation of return. Understanding this cycle changes everything. So what actually happens the moment you close that door behind you? For most dogs, the first few minutes trigger what researchers call the initial alert phase. Your dog immediately registers your absence through sound, scent, and the sudden shift in energy within the home. Many dogs will whine, bark repeatedly, or pace near the door or windows, almost as if trying to locate you. During this window, something significant is happening inside your dog's body. Cortisol, which is the primary stress hormone, spikes rapidly. This is the same hormone that floods the human body during moments of anxiety or panic. Your dog's nervous system essentially goes into a mild state of alarm. What makes this phase particularly intense is how deeply bonded dogs are to their primary human. You are not just a companion to them. You are their entire sense of safety and structure. Your sudden disappearance, without explanation, triggers a genuine emotional processing response that their brain must work through. Once that initial wave of distress passes, something interesting happens. Most dogs gradually shift from high alert into a much quieter state. The whining fades, the pacing slows, and before long, many dogs simply find a comfortable spot and settle in for a nap. This is actually completely natural behavior rooted in how dogs are wired. Research shows that dogs sleep anywhere between 12 to 14 hours per day on average, and alone time often fills a significant portion of that rest window. Once the cortisol levels begin dropping and the nervous system stops firing those stress signals, the body essentially tells the dog to power down. Think of it like a phone switching to low battery mode. Studies observing dogs through home cameras have confirmed that after roughly 30 minutes of solitude, the majority of dogs are either lying down or fully asleep. So while owners picture their dogs anxiously waiting, the reality is often far more peaceful than expected. Once the initial restlessness fades and your dog settles into a calmer state, something truly remarkable begins to happen. Dogs start engaging their most powerful sense, smell, to cope with your absence. A dog's nose contains roughly 300 million olfactory receptors compared to a human's mere 6 million. That extraordinary ability means your scent, lingering on your pillow, your worn hoodie, or your favorite chair, becomes a powerful emotional anchor. Research in animal behavior suggests that familiar scents trigger calming responses in dogs, actually reducing stress signals in the brain. This is why many dogs instinctively curl up on their owner's clothing or gravitate toward the bedroom when left alone. It is not random behavior. It is a deeply wired emotional response. Smell is so fundamentally tied to a dog's sense of security that simply leaving behind a recently worn item can meaningfully reduce anxiety and help your dog feel genuinely connected to you even across distance. Not every dog spends alone time in distress. For confident, well-adjusted dogs, solitude can actually become an opportunity for independent exploration and self-directed entertainment. Some dogs will methodically patrol the house, moving from room to room as if conducting a security check. Others position themselves near windows, watching birds, passing cars, and neighborhood activity for extended periods. This window-watching behavior is essentially television for dogs, providing mental stimulation through visual and auditory input. Toy interaction is another fascinating behavior. Certain dogs will independently retrieve their favorite toys, toss them around, and engage in solo play sessions without any human encouragement whatsoever. What does this reveal? These behaviors signal a psychologically secure dog with healthy confidence levels. A dog comfortable enough to play alone has been properly socialized and mentally stimulated through regular enrichment activities. However, this also highlights an important need. Dogs displaying minimal self-entertainment may be signaling insufficient mental stimulation in their daily routine, something every responsible owner should carefully consider. Not every dog spends alone time napping or sniffing around peacefully. Some dogs channel their emotional distress into something far more dramatic, like shredding couch cushions, digging up carpets, or tearing apart anything within reach. But here is what is important to understand. Not all destructive behavior comes from the same place psychologically.